ziua, bine ați revenit. Good afternoon, welcome back. So we're in the very middle of our Industry Days program at the 18th edition of Animest, the Animation Film Festival. And we're very happy to have here with us today two filmmakers, animation filmmakers that cooperate across European countries and bring ideas to the screen for us to enjoy. And we are meeting today Marie-Laure and Sunniva from the Mikrofilm, who created Titina. Hello. Titina, and you will be able to see the film tonight. Here we'll have a very short introduction also for the film and Q&A after. So all the questions that you don't manage to ask during this or after the masterclass, you'll be able to ask tonight. And also you'll be able to hear what they have to share on the radio, because after the masterclass they're going to the radio station and to give an interview for the Romanian audience. So I would like to give the floor to them, and to give you a spoiler, they have some goodies for you, so if you stay until the end you'll get something interesting. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, welcome and thank you for being here. We are so happy to be here in Romania, in Bucharest. It's the first time for both of us. We arrived yesterday and we like it a lot already, so looking forward to it. So today we'll take you behind the scenes of Titina, the film we both worked on. So let's first introduce ourselves. So I'm Marie-Laure, the animation director of Titina, so animation director from Belgium.
Yes, and I am Sunniva, and I worked as one of the character designers from Norway.
And so we take you behind the scenes from the director's first idea through the pre-production in Norway and the production in Belgium. And we'll have a focus on character design from Sunniva and on animation from myself. And then along the way, we'll give you lots of anecdotes and inside stories from making a 2D feature film in Europe. So actually what we're going to do now is going through all this process, the live of a shot. This took about 5 years. We'll just try to summarize in 1 hour with, as I said, the extra focus on character design and on animation. Yeah, but that's 5 years of work, or even more, the idea.
Yes, and so we thought it was a good idea to maybe start with just showing you the trailer for the film. So I don't know how much you've been able to see before, but now you get like a small picture of what we're going to talk about.
Din bastard pølsetyv!
Ja, men det jo ikke min hund! Du helt alene?
Hva heter du?
Nei, jeg tror hun sa Titina.
Ja, Titina!
Dette Umberto Nobile. Mitt navn Roald Amundsen, polfaren. Jeg vil reise til Nordpolen, og jeg vil bruke et luftskip. Og jeg vil at du skal bygge det. Helt siden jeg var en liten gutt, har jeg hatt lyst til å reise til Nordpolen. Et sted helt på toppen av kloden, hvor ingen mann har satt sine ben.
Titina, kom igjen!
Du har med hunden, ser jeg.
Selvfølgelig.
All right, boys.
Cheese! Cheese! Vent, du må vente. Nei. Har du sett henne?
Titina!
Men Titina da, hvor har du vært da?
Du måste ta bort isen från propellerna! Den nytter ikke. Vinden alt for sterk. Vi får bare håpe at de holder ut.
Burde du ikke tenke på å snu? Det ser ikke bra ut.
Men Roald,
Er du helt sikker på dette her, da?
So I hope you want to see more tonight. Yes, so that's the trailer of our movie. Oi! No, it's always. But of course, it all starts. We said it starts with a little idea, and of course, as well, a lot of inspiration. So,
Yes, so then we come to sort of the logline of the film, a true-ish story told by Kajsa Næss. It's very important, it was very important for us and for Kajsa to tell a story with humor, love, and respect. And these are kind of three keywords that we're gonna probably say again and again during this presentation, because it was really throughout the whole process of making it, and for everyone who was making it, we really focused on these three things. So let's start. We have, this is the story of Roald Amundsen, who is a very famous Norwegian explorer. And we all know about him, and we know about his greatest quests, taking the South Pole. But this story about him and Nobile and Titina was actually, I didn't know about it. This is his, like the last quest that he had. And he, so Amundsen wants to go to the North Pole, and he called the Italian engineer Umberto Nobile to ask him to build an airship for him to take them over the North Pole, which is a very strange and silly idea, I think, already. And the fun thing was that Nobile have this little dog called Titina that he actually brought with him to the North Pole. And this is also, for us Norwegians and for anyone who's an explorer going to dangerous places, a silly thing to bring a little lapdog with you to the coldest place on earth. So that's the basic, that's like the start of the idea, and then she went on to do research, and yeah. So.
Yeah, so Kajsa, I like the idea of this story that nobody knows, but yeah, this little dog went to the North Pole. She did a lot of research, and she stumbled into beautiful pictures. Look how amazing this airship. So we are here in 1928, and so it's about 100 years ago. So she did a lot of research, saw some original footage. That's quite amazing. Look how big it is, how small people are. And yeah, they probably never saw a camera before, and they're very proud. It's this footage you will actually see in the movie as well. So Kajsa chose to show this footage as well in the movie. So we see the real life and the real story, and then we have the part of animated with a bit more magical, and she stumbled in this sort of things as well. I don't know if you can read it. Men wanted for hazardous journeys, small wages, bitter cold, long months of complete darkness, constant danger, safe return, doubtful, honor and recognition in case of success. But that was Shackleton. That's not. So yeah.
Yeah. So that kind of thing and these kind of things, you know, it's very. What are they doing with the balloon in front of a camera? We don't really know. Why do they have such a big, like, it's really funny. It's really, she came across all of these references and photos, and it's just all really important men doing important stuff, but we don't really understand. It's very silly in a way. And that kind of is the ground stone of the humor and the where we wanted to lay the sort of the theme of the film as well is, yeah, there you go. And this kind of thing as well with this is actually Nobile out in his tiny boat.
So a safe boat. No, is it not if they crashed?
Yes.
Yeah. What you call it, safety boat.
Yeah, and just yeah. And of course you get reference, and it was really important because this is a true story that you were retelling. So you have all the reference, but you also need inspiration. Yeah.
You recognize this? Yes?
Yeah.
Jacques Tati,
Yes, exactly.
of course.
So Jacques Tati and Wes Anderson were the two main references when it comes to film. We wanted to bring the humor, and the composition and the camera work really into this film as well. If you watch it later, you'll see that the cameras are usually very static, and you keep it in one place, and then the characters, you have background characters, and you have the main characters all kind of doing their own thing within the frame. That kind of brings it to like this some very funny moments in the film.
So we have the idea, this true story. We have beautiful inspiration with Tati and Wes Anderson. Now we need money. That's also the important thing. We're artists and we're not at all in this thing, so we're not going to talk about money today. Just wanted to tell you that they actually found all the money in only 2 countries. I have been working more than 20 years in animation and co-production, and most of the time it would be between 3-4 countries in Europe, or Western Europe mostly. But there they found the money in 2 countries, which is quite crazy. And they actually decided, when I say there's a Mikrofilm and a producer, they actually decided on dividing the work in 2 big steps. Like all pre-production was done in Norway at Mikrofilm, all production was done in Belgium at Vivifilm. So it's quite unusual actually. So we did all the animation in Brussels. So co-production Norway, Belgium, with the pre-production in Norway, script, storyboard, character, all this. So I go through the life of the shot again. And then now we're going to focus on the character design with our character designer,
Yes.
Sunniva. Yes?
Yes, there you go. So I'm going to go through the character designs and how we worked with them now, probably fast enough so we can get to the animation part as well. So again, what was important, it's based off of real characters. And so Kajsa, she spent a lot of time finding the right person to do the original designs for these. And she found, I think she immediately thought of Siri Dokken, which is a very famous and a very talented, I think one, maybe our best cartoonist, and she works for newspapers. She draws caricatures, and as a character designer myself, I found it very, very interesting and really refreshing to work in this way, where you actually use an illustrator who doesn't know animation. She's never worked in the industry before, because you get to start a process from a little bit of a different way than what we usually do. So again, we have our 3 main characters, and again, we want to bring love and respect and sympathy for these characters when we design them. And Siri, as a caricaturist, or cartoonist, she really has a way of, it was really fun to work with her, because she really sees the most beautiful things, but also the most horrible things in people. And just by looking at, I'm going to come back to it, but just by finding reference photos, she really went into the minds of these characters. But let's start with the main queen, which is Titina. So here we have some early sketches, some early work from Siri. Right at the beginning, and quite for a long time, Titina was loosely based on Liza Minnelli, but more in the Arrested Development era. She's really such a good character. So, you know, we have this very diva-esque part with the lashes and, you know, little Italian fashionista in a way. And during this process as well, so this was before I came on to the project, and they really spent a lot of time coming back and forth. They got some money, and then they did some sketches, and then ran out of money, and then they got some money again and did some. So it was a very long process. And here as well, you can see that Siri and Kajsa, they were finding Titina. They needed to make a decision are we going to portray a real dog or a Disney-esque dog? Like, how will the dog behave and react to things? And we landed on Titina being a real dog because we felt like in the story this would be much better to then have because we see the story through her eyes, and just having a dog around people and seeing the difference between how these men are being very important and doing things, and then you have this little lapdog just looking at them going, what's going on? Yes, so very beautiful, very nice drawings. So these are the stuff that when I came on, we had so many, just stacks and stacks and stacks of original drawings. She's drawing everything on paper. And then we have this very proud and funny-looking man. And this is what I mean when she looked at, this is Amundsen when he's a child. And she wrote notes on every sketch, and even on the reference, she says, oh, it looks like he gets bored really easily. Even as a child, it looks like he's just bored. And that's kind of she managed to see these things in just even photos that are probably like set up and really, yeah. So very nice, beautiful drawings. Seeing how far we can push she pushed the design, and to really get that caricature, we go from this that are a bit more, it's a bit more realistic, and then you really see how she's pushing it. Yes, and then Nobile was quite a challenge actually, because he is a very complex character, and he needed to be sympathetic but also proud, and very unsure in his relationship with Amundsen. And the real Nobile, as you can see, looks a bit scary. He had this smile that I think you can see in many photos that he's trying to hide his teeth when he's smiling, so he's probably a bit self-aware about that. But this is also something that really, when you see that in a picture, you feel for the character and you get empathy for them. So here we have some very beautiful first tests of Nobile, and then a first turnaround down in the corner. Almost there, but really we needed something a bit crisper, and so you can see here she's tried to go in a more cartoony way, and that's the turnaround she did. So yeah, it's a long road. And she also really worked with the silhouettes and seeing how the two characters, how everything in the character is reflected even in the simplest silhouette. So, all of that. And then the designers. So after a while and a while again, they got the funding to start pre-production. And that's when myself, Sunniva Fluge Hole, and Martha Andreva came in. And we took everything that Siri had, and we talked and talked and talked about it, and then we started working on finding how can we translate this into animated figures. So my main mission was very much Titina. I have always drawn animals, and especially dogs, so it just came naturally to me. I got the job. We chose to go in we made her a little bit rounder, because we figured that Nobile finds her when she's a puppy on the streets, and so we figured that maybe he'd fed her really well growing up. I'm going to come back to this, but my mission as the dog expert also I brought with me when I went to Brussels after a year of pre-production. I went to Brussels to work on the main production and really helping the animators with posing and with drawing the characters and finding that really like dog language, using the ears and the nose and the eyes and not like the very like this one. These are quite early. And we never used that in the film. That's too human for us. So we had her as a puppy and as an old dog, and here she is as a puppy, and you can see we tried to bring the dog aspect. So when we have found the characters, we need to make a big package for the animators. So these are just, we need to make turnarounds so the animators can see the character from each angle, and then also construction to show the muscles and the bones and how the joints are combined and everything. So then we had Titina, and we really spent a lot of time finding her. She doesn't look difficult, but she was very difficult. Yes, Titina. And we have the other one. It's our proud man, Amundsen. This is how he turned out. Very funny looking, and yeah, just a super proud man. It was really important that we also always saw his calf muscles. This is a man who's been walking his whole life, so even though he's a bit old, those muscles are really integrated in him. And I used to tell the animators, when you're drawing him, think of a rooster and then put a puffin face on it, and then there you go. That's him. Yeah. So that's his relaxed mode, is always like this, always ready. The characters also in this film had especially Amundsen, had a lot of wardrobe changes, a little bit of like Beyonce on tour. So that was also really fun to research. We found this from the 20s, really funny workout clothes with the tights and the little thingy and the up and the belt. And so it's been a really, really fun process, but a lot of research, a lot of work, and then some really nice colors came on, and yeah, it really came together. Nobile is really Marta, the other character designer. She did such a good job on him. She, as I said before, he was a struggle, but she really managed to find a person that looks sympathetic, that looks. You can trust him, but he's also this. He's softer, in a way. And him also, we have a bunch of costumes. Sadly, the big black fabulous coat we couldn't have on him, but it's there. And he's also, we see him as an old man, and that was also a bit of a challenge. If you Google Umberto Noble as old, scary. He looks a bit scary. Yes, so that's the main characters. In this film as well, there's a bunch of secondary characters, and for Marie-Laure will talk about the animation style later on, but we wanted to have secondary characters with so many special features, and they really needed to be able to stand out in a frame without really moving too much. And that, again, Siri Dokken was just perfect for that role to take on. And so we have here the early concepts of this is some of the Italian crew here, and then you have the Norwegian crew. And for the crews, they needed to stand out by themselves. You needed to see the difference between the Italian crew and the Norwegian crew straight away. So we used the silhouettes and colors and shapes to achieve that. And here you have them. So you can definitely see all the Italians are blue and with very smart clothes, and really doesn't really look like they're going to the North Pole. But and then all the Norwegians have fur and really big boots and big coats, and they've been out a winter night before. But and also because we usually see there's a lot of shots where you are at Titina's perspective down on the ground, we really needed to make sure that the shoes, because you see, especially inside the airship, you see all the shoes and it's very chaotic. But you need to see if it's a Norwegian or if it's an Italian very easily. And then I think we just have some very nice. Yes, so just the rest of these pictures are just super nice to just look at it from all of the secondary characters. This is in Italy. Some of the secondary characters as well are based on real people. I think you can really see that in the design. The crooner here is based on a very famous Norwegian singer who sadly passed away while we were making when we were doing the pre-production, and so we chose to put her in to kind of, have a little homage to her. But you can see for me, when I'm looking at these, I really feel like they could be real people, and it was so inspiring to work with Siri, and you can tell like all of these original drawings. You can really just feel she is my favorite here. If you put her in a background, she doesn't really need to do much. She's already got so much character, and you know what she's like just from this one drawing. Just very nice. Beautiful, beautiful. There was also a bunch of animals in the film that I got the honor of drawing out. So a bunch of dogs, fancy dogs, street dogs, and handsome dog in Teller. That was a fun one. Really fun. Really, it was really nice to see the technique that Siri was doing, and then trying to incorporate that in my own work. And I learned a lot. And then when you do, I don't know how many of you work in animation, but so you probably know this already, but it's also very interesting to see just the amount of detail that you have to put into the characters to be able to give the package to the animators. So you have everything from hands to nails, how to draw the nails, how the squash and stretch in the face works. And these actually, we did these before we went down to the squash and the stretch, these ones, expressions. And we saw when we started testing the animation and that it was actually a bit too much. But we still kept them because it's a nice way to kind of go, so don't do this, but maybe do this. And so it's even when you do things in pre-production that you see it doesn't work, it's nice to keep it just to kind of, because you don't always know when you start animating. And even for the secondary characters, we really gave a lot of attention to everyone, got a full turnaround, I think. Everything, all the small things, we really spent a lot of time just, you see everything inside of the mouth and how the lines on his face works when he's speaking, and it's really fun.
I really need this to guide the animators, because there's about 40 animators and they need to know exactly how to handle the drawing. So we got a nice package. Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. And then can I just play it by pressing? So yes, there you go. Yeah. So we handed everything over, and then me and Kajsa went down to Brussels, and we started to do these tests. Turnarounds of the head, just to see does it work in every angle, and this is also a very nice thing for the animators to have as reference. Yes. Maybe you need to go. There you go. Yeah.
Yes, and in the meanwhile, at the same time, of course, there's not only the character design. At the same time. Mikrofilm has been working on the whole concept design for the background, for all the art design of the movie. So the art director is Emma McCann, wonderful, very talented artist from Scotland who lives in France. I'll go quickly through it. I'll just show you some very nice images of the movie and the backgrounds, where she really got to catch the colors of, here the colors of Italy, the colors of Norway.
And really, Kajsa told me they struggled with finding the right art director, because in Norway whenever the first thing that she saw that Emma did was she managed to capture the vastness and the bigness of everything compared to the very small people that's in it. When you are in the Norwegian mountains, it's really, I don't know. For me, it just seems like the sky is bigger than normal. I don't know why, but she really managed to capture that in her concept art.
And then, of course, as well, she did a lot of research in Italy and yeah, I'll just let you watch this. It's really nice. Emma is also a very big fan of Macintosh, so she really tried to get that reference in her drawings. So she used the kind of Macintosh lines in everything she did. So in the mountains, in the clouds, in the trees, in the snow, you will see each little piece of snow is made of Macintosh lines, of Emma lines actually. Huh? She just, so yeah, a lot of work in art, design.
That was also very interesting when we incorporated the characters into the backgrounds. Because it was interesting to see, because Siri has this very loose line that's sometimes very thick, and then we had these very skinny, very precise, but kind of very long lines from Emma. And it was up to me and Marta then to find a way to draw the characters using that line. We had to flatten them sometimes, like skirts, instead of having like a nice wave, they went straight over. And so it was a very fun process, and I think in the end it worked out really well. Yep.
Yeah, so that was the pre-production at Mikrofilm. So now we're ready. We can start animating. Production in Belgium. So all the background design were made in Mikrofilm. Now we have to do the actual background, the layout, the animation, compositing. All that was done. So we go back to our shot and through the life of the shot. So layout, posing, animation, animation rough, animation tie down were done in Belgium in 2 studios in Brussels and Ghent. There were about, I'm going to focus on animation. So there were about 35, 40 animators who worked on the movie. So yeah. So we have it all. We have the characters, we have the backgrounds. We can start animating, but it's not that easy, of course. It's not just having a character and making it move. We have to understand the characters. We have to know the animators. We have to understand the director. We have to understand the story. We have to talk a lot. The thing is, as I said, it's a Norwegian-Belgian co-production, so talking between these 2 countries, it's not always easy. There were quite a lot of misunderstanding also in the language, and yeah, I'm used to work in co-production, but it would be, I'm from Belgium, so it would be more with France or Holland, and we're very close to each other. But there are culture clash, but I never experienced such a big culture clashes with Norway. You have to imagine. So Keisha and Sunniva come to Belgium. It was kind of Vikings arrive, and no, but really, it's that's how we felt. And we are lovely little Smurfs in Belgium. You know the Smurfs? No, this is just a bit to make you laugh, but it's true. That's you have to imagine. I don't know if you've ever worked on a co-production, but that's really what happens. We have different cultures, different way of talking, different way of telling stories. So we really need to talk a lot and to understand each other. But we did, of course, we did, and it was great. And so we did talk a lot, Keisha and I, about animation, about what we like in animation, how we wanted to tell the story through the medium of animation. And I will summarize our discussions, or hours and hours and days of discussion in 10 points. So our choices, directions, why and how, because it's a traditional 2D animation, but the animation style was quite stylized, I would say. I'll very quickly go through them because I'm not gonna. These are actually hours of discussion, but then I will focus on the last 4 points that I think might be more interesting for you today. So, of course, first thing, it's about visual storytelling because we're telling a story. So everything we show needs to push the story, and we don't need to talk all the time. It can be just shown with one image. So we try to do that a lot, and a lot of shortcuts with just one image. We tell a story. And then the reference inspiration we talked about already, Jacques Tati and Wes Anderson, we really needed to find them in every shot, actually. And Kaisa asked us all the time, give us some Tati moments. Oh, but actually it did work. It was really nice. The humor was very important to have a kind of what I like, a kind of clever humor in observation and timing, more than in slapstick or cartoony. So that was... And then, of course, the animation style needed to help the character design blending into background design. Sunniva and her team did that already, but we needed to take a step further into animation. We wanted to work with strong timing, rhythm, and contrast to dare, because I think if you have very strong timing contrast, it gives even more life. So we dare going very far in that. Okay, so that's my motto. That's what I tell all the time my animators. Less is more, but adding the right little detail. You probably know this motto, less is more. Yeah, you all know less is more. So that's what we try to do here. Go to the essence, but adding the little detail and make it really crisp and alive. And then, well, we'll go through this last thing. The treatment, very important to have. We actually had 2 different treatments between real characters and imaginary characters. And of course with Titina, which was treated another way as well. We worked with drawings and with strong drawings. We had her to keep it strong. And the last point, super important, giving life to the characters and create empathy. So I'll just show you a shot. We'll go through, again, through the life of a shot where I show you the difference between real characters and imaginary characters. Like in Sunniva's work, we needed to treat them differently. We did try at the beginning, we did some tests with the real characters, Amundsen and Nobile, and we noticed that if we animated them cartoony with squash and stretch, and then we lost respect, actually. We kind of made fun of them somehow. So it really didn't work. But it is fun in an animated movie to have a bit of, squash and stretch and deformation and crazy stuff. So we use that in the imaginary or secondary characters. Of course, we had to make sure that they belong to the same world. So I'll just show you a shot, live of a shot from the layout to the final image. And you will see Nobile and Amundsen, and then a crazy hotel, what you call it again? Lobby boy. So this is the storyboard, the layout where you have the background in a line and just the turnaround of the characters. Then we have the posing. And then the first rough animation. You see, we had Danas made this animation. He had fun actually. He had fun doing it and pushing it. And the other 2, they hardly move actually. This is the tie down. Strong timings, deformation, and that's the cleanup. So in Kecskemét in Hungary. So you see the difference between the 2 main characters. They're quite realistic. They don't move so much, and now we have the ink and paint with the blushes on the ears and the nose. And the final composited shot. What sound?
Amundsen? Nobile.
So you saw the difference between both characters. And now, of course, Titina. Titina, she had to be as realistic as possible, because if an animal is realistic, it's super expressive. And we really wanted her to be as expressive as possible, and also to give as much empathy. And I think you don't need, if we had made her with Disney features or you would lose the empathy, actually. I'll just share with you a few of my favorite shots of Titina. Actually, all my shots are my favorite shots of Titina. This is a dog being a dog. Going through a lot of emotions, but in her eyes, Oh, there's no sound. Oh. You don't even need sound to feel for her. So that was really important, never to have a little smile or mouth down. You had to feel she's sad or she's happy, just with the timing, with the ears, with the tail. Timing, ears, tail, and focus on the eyes. That's Sunniva's favorite shot. One of the. I'll play it again. Yeah, and she's just there and watching men. Oh. I heard you laugh, and you might think, I do think as well a little bit that here she's a bit almost cartoony, but she's not at all. Believe me, she's not. Look at it again. She's not. She's still a dog, just a happy dog. Anyway, dogs can be very, very cartoony. Yeah, it's all about being expressive and the right timing. I think the timing there was brilliant. So, yeah, we had the time of our life watching hours of reference on YouTube and dogs in the street. We watch dogs in the street all the time. Then, next is drawings. Titina had to be a 2D feature film, 2D as well, to really feel the people behind it, the handmaids, and the... I forgot the name. Drawings and strong drawings. And that was not always easy, but very happy to have Sunniva in Brussels to help us on that.
Yes. So, so like I told you, I was on the pre-production, so I think for this project I was on it for at least 2 years, maybe 2.5, yeah. And so my role when I came to Brussels was to really help the animators understand how to move the characters and also how to draw the characters, so that when they animated them and gave them life, and really they could focus on that, and then they didn't have to be so worried about drawing them correctly like the first time. Because these were they're very difficult characters to draw. The design is very, very difficult, actually.
Yeah, if I can say, if the animator would only focus on to draw it correctly and to draw it on model, then he would lose the most important, which is which is giving life to it. So first you need to let it go and give life to it, and then put it on model.
Yes.
But if you too much think it has to be perfectly on model, then you will lose the...
Exactly.
So that's...
Yeah. So that was very, yes, and I think this was, I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to experience this again, but as a designer, it was such a gift to be able to go and actually work with the animators, and because they could then just focus on the animation, focus on giving life, and then trust me in helping them to draw the characters properly and correctly afterwards. And so we spent a lot of time. I just sat down with the animators. I did drawovers, follow the spine, compress the fat like this, and then stretch it like this, and the eyes go up here, and all the little details that really makes the characters look correct. But at the same time, I really I feel like it's very important, actually, when you do make a fully 2D animated films. Of course, there's going to be some mistakes here and there, and it is actually giving the film more life, I feel, when you see that there's so many hands that are touching the work of art, and when it goes through a lot of hands, of course, sometimes there's going to be some things that you just it's not going to be perfect, but that's how it is perfect.
No, we said the imperfection makes it perfect,
yes.
But still, it needs to be good, and then, yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah, so here's just a nice example of how I of one of the shots where I also was helping the animators with maybe sometimes the body language, sometimes the composition, just because I've worked on the film so long, and I know Kajsa very well by this point, so instead of yeah, it was just easier. I could see things, and I could. So this is nice. This is from posing, and it's already very nice. It's just I felt like okay, there's a few things, maybe just the grounding and just maybe her eyes a little bit. So then I did a nice draw over just to kind of okay, just put this leg a little bit back, and then it's tiny things. But I think it's once you have that first drawing really well. And then all the in-betweens and everything, it doesn't matter if it's a bit wrong, but the main drawings really need to sit. And also things like this, like with the shoe, just cheat whenever you can. Very important. And then, yes, you can go to the next one. So she ends with putting her head on his chest. And I grew up with a dog, and I remember when she really wanted to cuddle, they really want to just disappear into you, like it seems like they just want to become a part of you. So I did draw over and kind of, maybe we can do something like this. And we're not going to show it because it's going to spoil everything, but if you do see the film tonight, you will see then how this all came together, and then the animator, he gave something, a small movement that really, she didn't just do this and this, she did that, and then she did a tiny little thing that just, oh, she's alive now. It's a very, very nice example, I think.
And that's where we get to the last point of our animation. This, yeah, sorry,
yes,
you needed to sort out. No.
Go.
Yeah, it's really about giving life to the characters and create empathy. Yeah, animation is about. If I look at the definition of animation in the dictionary or Wikipedia or whatever, I get really angry actually, because I always see this thing of still figures becoming moving image, or image of people and seem to move. It's all to create appearance of movements. It always, when we look for animation, they always talk about movement. Technically, that's correct, but for me, animation is much more than that. And if you get to the Latin word of animation, anima, you probably did Latin here. You have a Latin language, so you all know what anima means. Soul, yes. Soul, breath, spirit, life. So that makes me happy to read that. So that's really what I tell the animators, to really give life to the characters and not just make them move. So for me, it's more important that it's something happening instead of just the beautiful rules of animation. Of course, it's important. And the 12 principles of animation, you have to put them when you animate. But the most important would be to give life, to give empathy, and to feel something. And I'll show you the first time Sunniva felt.
Yes. So
Titina
this,
alive.
yeah, we can maybe just. Yeah. So it's just very small. She's just breathing, like she's just sniffing the air. And the first time I saw this, it was, we made the whole film through COVID. So I moved to Belgium. I moved into an apartment. I was ready to start this new adventure, and then we all got locked in. So I was in a new country. I didn't know anyone. I knew Kaisa, and we were just working all day. And so you can imagine it was a rough time, of course, for everyone. But then I saw the rough animation of this, and I almost started crying because it was so.
You did cry.
I did.
But I did as well.
Yeah, it was.
You can imagine, she worked like 1 year on drawing this character. It was static. And then this wonderful Sophie, the animator, is wonderful.
It was the first one she did,
Yeah.
and Titina was alive, and it was really, really special for me. I don't know if I'll ever experience that again. So I'm very. It's a good example for me. I'm very happy I got to experience that.
Yeah, and indeed, that was actually the first shot of Titina, and we got it right straight away. Nobile was a bit more difficult. We struggled a bit with Nobile to give him life. For the same reason you explained just before. I'll show you now the shot where I thought, okay, Nobile is alive now. But, sorry. I'm spoiling it. Yeah, okay, you haven't seen the movie, you don't know when this happens, so it's maybe you'll find it more difficult to feel, oh, he's alive, but please focus on it and see. So focus on Nobile. Huh? It's a shot. Amundsen is talking, but Nobile is not listening to Amundsen at all, so it's normal that he doesn't look at him. Just focus on Nobile.
Humberto Nobile.
Hva sier du nå, da? 32. Åh. Nå går det unna.
Det er ikke meningen å plage deg, men vi må nok litt mot øst.
Hæ?
So I'll play it again.
Humberto Nobile.
Hva sier du nå, da? 32. Åh. Nå går det unna.
Det er ikke meningen å plage deg, men vi må nok litt mot øst.
Hæ?
So, yeah, I also cried when it was so difficult to animate Nobile, and Solène here really got him. Actually, when she did this shot, she worked at home because she had her partner had COVID, and she dared acting it out. She acted out much more than when she was in studio. Apparently, she didn't dare acting out, so she acted it out, and she really felt the character. And I think you feel it so much in that shot. If you see the movie and you know the story, it's more evident. So I think what she did, what strikes me when I see this shot is that I feel like the voice is really coming out of the character. It's just coming out of it. I think the work on the eyes are amazing, and you really understand what's happening in his head, the timing of these eyes, the fact that he stays focused, and then because you understand what's happening in his head, you get empathy for him. So for me, this is probably the three most important things to give life to the character, to really use the voice, feel that the voice is coming out of the character, use the eyes, and the eyes are amazing, and then try to get that empathy. So of course you have all the classical acting rules, that's super important. These you can find on internet. I learned them at school 20 years ago. They're a bit different, I've put them my way, but it's you probably all know, if you're animators in the room, you all know these rules, but it's good to remind you, know and understand your characters. The character has a goal, you need to know the goals as well. And then the first one, mime it, act it out. I'm really strict on that, Solène, she didn't dare in the room, and then she did that at home. But we often talk about shooting, making reference, so you put your camera and then you act it out and you shoot yourself. Oh, that sounds bizarre. You film yourself, and I think it's great, and of course you have to do this, but for me it's most important just to act it out and to mime it out for yourself and to feel the character than just to see what's happening with the body and how it's moving. So of course you need to film yourself, it's important, but most important for me, when I direct my animators, is to act it out, and feel for it. And then acceleration, make it readable. This is important as well. We use that a lot of Titina. When an animator gets his shot, he gets a little piece, like 2, 3, 4 seconds, and he wants to do too much in these 3 seconds, but you have to think of your shot in the sequence and in the movie. And you have to, often animators want to do so much, but you have to avoid the urge of always making the character move. And what really makes the shot work are the moments of stillness next to the movement. And don't ever move for nothing. We did have some animators at the beginning who found it difficult, and they got their shot, and they made the character move a lot. And I think the most retake I gave is take it out. Especially the blinks. There were blinks all the time, and then you don't get into the character's head because it's always blinking. So take it out, and and the same thing. You don't need to change the pose simply because there's a new emphasis. You can keep the character and put the emphasis in the right place. I love you. That's about It's the I love you, or I love you, or I love you. You have to put it in the right place, the emphasis, because otherwise it might give you the wrong information. And also put the head in the right position to make that sound. I always ask the animators as well to read, not read, but to repeat the text themselves and to feel what's happening with their heads, with their body, because if you have a certain sound, you won't be able to do the sound with the head up or the sound with the head down. You really have to feel this sound coming out. Of course, it was Norwegian, so it was, but still, even with Norwegian, we didn't talk Norwegian, but we just did, and it's not about the, yeah. I'll show you one, really focus on the beginning of the shots. Maybe you should close your eyes and listen to no, you close your eyes and just listen to the sound first.
Det er ikke sånn at jeg sitter klar hvert sekund.
You heard it. There's an amazing actress who did this voice. When you say it yourself, you cannot say it without moving your head. It just doesn't work. So we worked on this with the animator, and she, she made the character move with the voice.
Okay, nå er jeg klar. Slutt.
Okay, now I'm show it again without talking, otherwise you won't.
Det er ikke sånn at jeg sitter klar hvert sekund. Okay, nå er jeg klar. Slutt.
And again, the timing and taking the time and yeah, because the character needs time to process things. So you need, as an animator, to give your character time he needs to go through. I mean, he's a real person. He also needs time to process. He needs time to think. And if you give your character time to think, then you will also give the audience time to think and time to understand what's happening in character's head and how your character's feeling. And of course, that will create empathy. And I think that's what we all want to do when we make a movie, is create empathy, that the audience feel for the characters and go with the story. So this is one of the shots where the animator had put like 3 blinks on Titina, but okay, again, you don't know what's before and after, but Titina, she's seagulls and she wants to eat them, and she's so sad because they're gone away. Yeah, you need to focus. She keeps her focus on the seagulls, and here Amundsen is thinking. You need to give time to think, and so I really like here. There's one blink. It feels like he's thinking, and the blink feels like an edit for I got my idea now. So really use the blinks only when it's needed, and use it as an edit tool. And yeah, I talk a lot about eyes because for me this is almost the most important. And it's crazy. Yeah, for me everything goes through the. I believe 9% of the emotion will be shown through the eyes. Of course, it's all the body and body language and blah blah blah. But what's amazing is that the eyes actually, it's only a few lines to draw or a few controls to move in 3D. It's the same 2D, 3D. And then it gives you so much emotion. So in the body, you have to draw all these lines and then, yeah. So please use the eyes, everything you can do with the eyes and the timing. Because, of course, the eyes are the windows to your soul. And that's even more. You have to maybe take a picture and think about it afterwards, but the eyes are the mirror of the soul and reflect everything that seems to be hidden. And like a mirror, they also reflect the person looking into them. Probably the person would be your audience then. And so you probably want to, I hope you want to adopt her as well when you see this. You see it all goes through the eyes. So we've been through the life of a shot, 5 years in 1 hour. Yeah. Of course, after the animation, you need a cleanup. That was done in Hungary and a few other studios in the world, ink and paint, compositing. And now we finish. We just have 2 minutes we can finish in 2 minutes. We just, yeah.
Yes.
We just.
Yeah. So for to finish, let's just show you a breakdown of some animation. So enjoy.
There was supposed to be a beautiful music over it. I don't know why. No, it's no sound. but then you can look at it even more. And you'll, yeah. So storyboards, rough animation, and you see in this, breakdown a lot of effects. It was all hand drawn, so each piece of snow was hand drawn with the Macintosh lines.
That's it. Yes, but it's. I always find it very interesting to see breakdowns of shots, and as a designer and working in animation, usually the line tests are actually the funnest part. If I could watch a whole film with just line tests, I think I would be very happy. Yeah, thank you.
So we have a few minutes for questions from the audience. If you would like to ask something.
Thank you. Did the caricaturist have experience with animation movies before, like creating?
No, so Siri, who did the original designs, she had never worked in animation ever. So she was very scared, but that's why I found it really inspiring to start work that way, because it's if you get the gift of going into a project in a different way than you're used to, I think you should always grab it, even if it doesn't work, because it's just super fun and interesting to be able to.
Question is, will she do it again?
That's the question. Hopefully.
Hello, I'm Felicia. I was wondering about the target audience. And second question would be, I love the ears. They are fantastic. I like the way they are wavy on the poster. And how much of an emotional arc do the ears bring to Titina? So are the ears part of her emotions or
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we use the, as I said.
Yeah, the ears, right? That's what we. Yeah, the ears were. That's why we also made them very big. Ears and the eyes, we deliberately made them very big on her, so it's a good way of showing that emotion. Yeah.
And about the audience, very happy with that question. So it's a family film. So the main audience would be the kids like 8 to 10. But of course, all generation will love it. Okay, I'm gonna sell the movie, but it's 8 to 10. But from six, huh?
Yeah.
So the minimum is 6 years old. Of course, the parents really like it, and even the grandparents, because there's a lot of history and all the. It's like history as well. I mean, so all generation. But it's a different kind of movie. It's not a movie that the kids would see usually. It's a different tempo. Doesn't mean that it's slow tempo. It's different tempo. There's slow, very fast. There's slow. It's very different from what they used to watch. And I know I did read some critiques, but not official critiques, like people saying, "Oh, it's too slow for the kids." And I hate like adults saying that, and I hate that because the kids should say it themselves, not an adult writing that. I know that there are some adults thinking, "Oh, I don't know if it's for my kids. It's going to be too slow. It's going to be boring." I've seen it like maybe 20 times in rooms full of kids, and the kids are like this from beginning to start. They love it, they really do. And I think we should not underestimate them, like Keisa says all the time. So, yeah, it is for children, 6 years old, they will love it as well. Of course, they will see different things. 8, 9, 10 years old, they will see different things. Teenagers will love it as well and see different things. But, it's not for everybody, it's for each target group, I think. And yeah, okay. Of course, I'm selling the movie, but I really believe in it. It's yeah.
Thank you so much. And you have some goodies that you brought, some
Yes.
postcards. So we invite the audience to to have a look.
Please
at,
come and have a
what,
look. Maybe I can just
Santa Claus brought from
maybe
the
I can
north.
just lay it in front, and
Yeah.
people can just pick up whatever. We have some very nice.
Fast.
Yeah. So we have some nice posters
So
here, and there.
let's give another round of applause. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So we will finish now this
yes, but
presentation.
you need
Then we have in
to-
about 10 to 15 minutes the pitching session. So where we invite you to come and see the project. Thank you.
And sold on this.